Your name still sleeps inside my phone, a lighthouse on a broken sea. I typed 100 fragile endings, none were brave enough to leave. The blinking cursor kept on breathing, like it believed we'd speak again. But silence signed its own confession, and I pressed nothing in the end. Some words are born to save a heart, some are buried where they start. Mine became a quiet funeral inside the dark. This is a eulogy for a text message draft I never sent, a little piece of hope I buried before it ever meant anything to you, anything at all. I watched my courage disappear, one letter at a time. This is a eulogy for the goodbye that never crossed the line. The screen grew dim beneath my fingers, reflecting someone I don't know. Every sentence asked forgiveness, every comma begged me don't. Outside the city kept on breathing, cars and strangers passing by, while my entire world stood frozen inside a single unsent line. I erased the truth so many times, the keyboard learned my grief. Even autocorrect stopped believing there was love left to retrieve. This is a eulogy for a text message draft I never sent, a conversation with no ending, a heart without consent. Every word became a ghost, every pause became a prayer. I filled the silence with your memory, but you were never there. Maybe somewhere in another lifetime my trembling thumb found send. Maybe you replied with mercy, maybe we began again. Or maybe every possible tomorrow still arrived exactly here, with an empty chat, a fading battery, and another faithful tear. This is a eulogy for a text message draft I never sent. The truest thing I ever wrote was lost before it went. Now the blinking cursor sleeps at last, its lonely vigil through. The message never reached your heart, but it never left mine too. One day this phone will lose its charge, its memories erased like rain. But somewhere in the quiet between the pixels, your name will softly remain. Not as the love that answered back, nor the future we once planned, just a message dressed in silence, forever waiting for a hand. I found it in my winter jacket, hidden underneath the seams, a little piece of ordinary from a life that used to dream. A pocket full of lint and a receipt from that little place downtown. Proof that once, for one beautiful evening, the world stops spinning around. The ink has faded like your memory, the numbers barely remain. But I still feel the warmth of that night every time I see your name. It's a pocket full of linen, the receipt from our first date, a worthless little treasure that I couldn't throw away. The coffee, the conversation, the smile I can't replace, a pocket full of lint, and a lifetime in a faded day. The restaurant closed years ago, the sign was taken down. New faces fill the tables now, new stories in that town. But I still remember your nervous laughter, the way you looked at me, how two strangers became a promise before we learned to leave. Funny how the smallest things can carry the heaviest weight. How a paper torn from a register can hold the shape of yesterday. It's a pocket full of linen, the receipt from our first date, a ghost inside my jacket that time could never erase. The world calls it nothing, just paper, dust and space, but it holds the last reflection of your unforgettable face. If I could spend that money again, I'd order one more night. I'd memorize every second, I'd hold on a little tighter. I'd tell my younger self to listen, to notice every little sign, because some moments only happen once and then become a lifetime. It's a pocket full of lint and the receipt from our first date, the last small pieces of a love that couldn't escape its fate. I keep them in my drawer now, where forgotten memories wait, a pocket full of lint and a heart still stuck on that day. Someday the paper will crumble, the ink will disappear, but I'll still remember the evening when you were standing here. Some people leave behind diamonds, some leave things money can't create. You left me a pocket full of nothing and the receipt from our first date. Tuesday slipped in, wearing ordinary clothes. Nothing warmed my heart to hide. Sunlight painted dust across the floor, while your shadow crossed my mind. The kettle sang, the windows breathed, the world kept moving on. Then a cold I couldn't name settled where your love had gone. No thunder in the sky, no reason I could see, just an ache beneath my skin, remembering what used to be. A shiver in the core of my bones on a Tuesday afternoon, like when I found my heartbeat in the middle of June. I wrapped myself in memories, but they only let the cold pass through. Some ghosts don't need the midnight, they arrive when skies are blue. And every quiet second still somehow belongs to you. The dishes waited in the sink, the radio played soft, someone laughed outside the house, like nothing had been lost. I envied every stranger who could breathe without your name, while I carried frozen echoes no one else could ever blame. It's strange how ordinary days can break a heart in two. Without a single warning, they lead me back to you. A shiver in the core of my bones on a Tuesday afternoon. No rain, no storm, no darkness, just an empty living room. I reached for warmth inside myself, but all I found was you. Some loves never leave, they just become the coldest truth. And every breath I borrow still remembers you. If healing comes in seasons, why am I still snow? Why does every springtime carry traces of your ghost? Tell me how a soul survives when its fire has turned to stone. How can a crowded world still leave someone so alone? A shiver in the core of my bones on a Tuesday afternoon. The clock keeps counting forward, but my heart won't leave that room. If time is meant to soften every scar we journey through, why does every passing year make me miss you like it's new? The day goes on without us, but I never do. Tomorrow will arrive like Tuesday never mattered. The sun will find my window, the birds will find their tune, but somewhere deep beneath my skin, where silence learns to bloom, a single shiver will remain, waiting for another ordinary afternoon. The curtains open to an empty glow. A single spotlight touched the floor. I sang the words that once were ours, but they don't live here anymore. The chairs were filled with silent faces, eyes that wandered far from me. I gave them every shattered heartbeat, yet no one heard the melody. Every note fell like autumn leaves, drifting where no hands would catch. I smiled through the breaking silence, pretending I could bear the laugh. This was a song that nobody applauded, a heart poured out into the air. Every lyric carried your shadow, but nobody knew you were there. The final chord just disappeared, no echo came to call it home. I bowed before a room of strangers, never feeling more alone. The microphone still held my trembling, like it pitied every word. Even the walls seemed tired of listening to a love no longer heard. Your empty seat became the loudest sound, a silence sharper than goodbye. The stage lights burn like distant stars, watching another dream go by. Every verse became a confession, every rhyme another scar. I kept singing to your memory, though you'd already gone too far. This was a song that nobody applauded, no hands reached out, no voices stayed. The tears behind my fragile smile were hidden by the songs I played. The final note kept floating upward, searching for a heart to find, but it faded with the lonely night, leaving only me behind. Maybe every broken singer carries concerts no one sees, standing underneath bright lights, begging ghosts for sympathy. Maybe every lonely chorus lives inside a quiet soul, waiting for one gentle heartbeat to finally make it whole. This was a song that nobody applauded, yet I sang it just the same, 'cause loving you was always worth more than fortune, more than fame. If someday you hear these echoes riding softly on the wind, know each note was written for you, though you never listened. The curtains closed without a whisper. The spotlight slowly lost its glow. Only my lonely footsteps answered as I walked into the cold. Some songs become forever famous, some disappear before they're through. Mine became the sound of silence the day I lost you. The lobby smells of vinyl records, fresh printed shirts and pouring rain. A stranger folds another hoodie while I unfold my hidden pain. The open act begins their set. The first chord cuts straight through the crowd. Then suddenly your favorite song becomes the loudest silence now. Everyone is singing with the chorus, their voices lifting toward the lights. Mine is drowning in a memory that showed up uninvited tonight. I'm crying at the merch table while the opener plays your favorite song. The room keeps swaying like nothing happened, but my heart can't sing along. I hold a faded concert poster like it's all that's left of you. I'm crying at the merch table where every note still feels like you. The cashier asks if I need help. I only manage half a smile. There's a shirt with lyrics on the back we used to quote for miles. The crowd erupts in joyful thunder. Phones rise like stars above the floor. I'm standing just outside the moment we used to live for. You always knew the second verse. You'd laugh before the bridge. Now every melody crosses over a memory I can't forget. I'm crying at the merch table as your favorite chorus fills the air. Thousands of voices know the words, but they don't know you're not there. I almost buy your sides by habit, then remember what is true. I'm crying at the merch table, still shopping for you. If music really heals the broken, why does this song reopen scars? Why does every chorus carry me back to who we were? The spotlight finds the singer smiling, the audience becomes the sea. I'm the only soul not drowning in anything but memory. I'm crying at the merch table while the last refrain fades away. The applause arrives like distant weather, but mine never came. I leave with empty hands and heavy pockets, full of all I couldn't say. I'm crying at the merch table long after the music fades. Outside the rain keeps perfect making future plans. I walk beneath the neon glow, carrying echoes through the blue, because your favorite song kept playing, even when it could no longer bring me back to you. Water barely reached my knees, but I felt miles beneath the blue. The summer lights were shining bright while I was drowning without you. The neighbors laughed beside the fence, the radio played something new. Nobody noticed I was sinking in a place I once walked through. No ocean wave, no raging river, no storm breaking through the sky, just a quiet kind of falling that no one sees from outside. I'm sinking fast with heavy boots in a shallow swimming pool. Everyone says I'm standing fine, but they don't know what I lose. The water isn't deep enough to explain the weight I carry. I'm sinking fast with heavy boots, and nobody's coming near me. Tiles beneath my feet remember every summer we were young. Your laughter used to fill this backyard, now it only haunts my lungs. I left my shoes beside the doorway, left my courage by the chair. I walked into a pool of memories and found you weren't there. It's strange how something shallow can still pull a person down, how a heart can disappear while still standing on the ground. I'm sinking fast with heavy boots in a shallow swimming pool, wearing all the words I swallowed, carrying what I couldn't lose. The water only covers my ankles, but the pain reaches my eyes. I'm sinking fast with heavy boots while everyone walks by. Maybe the heaviest things we carry are the ones nobody can see. Old apologies, faded pictures, versions of who we used to be. I built a life out of pretending, painted smiles across the cracks, but every step became a question of whether I could make it back. I'm sinking fast with heavy boots in a shallow swimming pool, a tragedy without a headline, a heartbreak without proof. The sun keeps shining overhead, the world keeps moving on. I'm sinking fast with heavy boots before anyone knows I'm gone. When the water finally settles and the ripples disappear, they'll say it wasn't deep enough to understand my fear. But some people drown in silence, some fall beneath the blue, not because the water held them, because they carried too much through. The stairs still creak beneath the footsteps. The old brick walls are painted gray. The basement lights keep flickering softly, like they missed the nights you stayed. The speakers hum with broken memories. The microphone waits in the dark. Every corner holds a photograph of where you left your mark. The crowd still gathers on Fridays, but something's missing in the sound. 1,000 words can fill a room, but silence fills it now. The basement shows are too empty without your voice. The guitars still keep on screaming, but they don't make the same choice. Every lyric feels unfinished, every chorus feels destroyed. The basement shows are too empty without your voice. Your old set list sits behind the curtain, covered in dust and faded ink. The songs you sang still haunt the ceiling, like ghosts that never learn to leave. The new bands chase the same old feeling, trying to recreate the flame. But nobody can fill the silence where they used to call your name. The posters peel from basement noise. The memories lose their glue. This place was built for broken hearts, but it was built around you. The basement shows are too empty without your voice. The amps still shake the floorboards, but they can't replace the noise. The room still holds the echoes of every song you destroyed. The basement shows are too empty without your voice. If the walls could sing, they'd sing your verses. If the wires could cry, they'd cry along. Every cable, every speaker knows the shape of your last song. Maybe some voices aren't meant to fade. Maybe some never disappear. They just hide inside the silence and wait for someone to hear. The basement shows are too empty without your voice. Even when the crowd is shouting, it feels like we lost the choice. Your memory keeps breathing, and every song that shakes these walls carries one unfinished truth. The basement shows are too empty, because they were never the same without you. The streetlights painting moving shadows across the windows of your car. We drove nowhere just to talk about how we drifted way too far. Your old Civic smelled like summer, like cheap coffee and perfume. I held on to every second, like it could save us from the truth. The radio played something broken, the engine hummed beneath our fears. Two hearts sitting inches closer, yet somehow disappearing for years. The best part of me died in the backseat of your Civic. Somewhere between you last I'm sorry and the moment you admitted. I left my dreams on that old fabric, left my hope beneath the seats. The best part of me died there. You stopped choosing me. The fog covered up the windows, like the world knew not to stare. Your hand was resting by the doorway, but I couldn't reach it there. We talked about the good old moments, like strangers reading someone else's past, trying to find the exact second when forever moved too fast. No crash, no fire, no warning, no reason anyone could see. Just a quiet kind of ending that happened between you and me. The best part of me died in the backseat of your Civic, the place where I believed your heartbeat was something I could keep with me. The windows held our reflections, two ghosts pretending to be free. The best part of me died there when you stopped needing me. If that car could still remember, it would know the words I swallowed. Every please don't leave I buried, every road I never followed. Maybe love doesn't disappear, maybe it just changes rooms. Maybe mine is still sitting there, waiting underneath the moon. The best part of me died in the backseat of your Civic. Not because you meant to hurt me, not because you were malicious. Some hearts simply lose their rhythm when the song is almost through. The best part of me died there, but it was born because of you. Now every time I see that model on a highway passing by, I look away a little quicker so the memories don't drive, because somewhere in that backseat where our last forever lived is the version of me I lost and the love I couldn't fix. The fields are sleeping under white blankets. The highway disappears in gray. The wind keeps knocking on my window like it's asking you to stay. The old farmhouse holds your photographs, your laughter trapped inside the walls. But winter has a way of proving some warmth was never ours at all. You were made of summer mornings, golden skies and ocean views. I was built from frozen sidewalks and a heart that learned to lose. The Midwest is too cold for someone with a heart like yours. Too many empty winters, too many unforgiving storms. You needed fields of flowers, I only had November rain. The Midwest is too cold. I couldn't keep you warm again. The sign still flickers softly where we talked until the night. 2 cups of coffee, 1 old promise, 2 shadows under neon light. You said the silence felt like snowfall, beautiful but hard to breathe. I held your hand through every blizzard, but couldn't stop you from leaving me. Some hearts are meant for open windows, some souls need a different sky. I tried to build you up forever with a place that made you cry. The Midwest is too cold for someone with a heart like yours. The frost keeps covering the footprints of the love we had before. You were a summer song in springtime, I was a winter melody. The Midwest is too cold for the warmth you brought to me. If I could borrow the sun from July, I'd place it around your shoulders. If I could stop the hands of winter, I'd make this Some roads aren't meant to share. Sometimes love is just a fire that disappears into the air. The Midwest is too cold for someone with a heart like yours. Now the snow keeps falling gently on the places we were before. I still leave the porch light burning, though I know you won't return. The Midwest is too cold, but I still wait beside the warmth we burned. Spring will come to these empty fields. The rivers will run free. Flowers will bloom where ice once lived, but not where you left me. And every winter wind that finds me will whisper something true. The Midwest was never too cold for love. It was just too cold for you. We stacked our dreams on borrowed air, careful hands, unsteady hearts. Every promise leaned on another, like they were never built to last. You smiled and called it forever. I smiled because I needed to. Neither of us noticed how fragile our future grew. The window stayed shut, the room was still, but something invisible was stronger than our will. We built this house of cards just to watch the fan blow it over. Every king and queen we trusted felt like they were made of paper. You reached for the door, I reached for your sleeve, but love was already folded into shapes we couldn't keep. Now I'm sweeping up forever from the floor beneath my feet. There's a coffee ring still fading on the table where we dream. The chairs still face each other, but they don't mean the same to me. I tried to rebuild the corners, one memory at a time, but every careful touch only scattered what was mine. No thunder ever warned us, no fire filled the air. Sometimes the quiet endings are the hardest to repair. We built this house of cards just to watch the fan blow it over. All our little masterpieces couldn't survive the smallest weather. You carried half the story, I carried all the blame. Now every empty room still whispers your name. And every Every fragile heartbeat collapses just the same. Maybe love was never meant to stand against the wind. Maybe we kept pretending. Cracks were only shadows on the walls. Or maybe we were beautiful because we knew we'd fall. Holding on to hope like it wasn't paper at all. We built this house of cards just to watch the fan blow it over. Not with anger, not with storms, just the smallest breath between us. Now the silence wears our voices. The dust remembers where we stood. If I could build it all again, I'd still choose you. If I could. Even knowing every ending was already written in the air. The last card falls, the room grows still, and somehow the emptiest sound is the one we never heard. The quiet moment when love let go. We left the station after midnight with a suitcase full of dreams. Two reckless hearts and broken maps, chasing impossible things. The tracks were never built for us. The warning signs were bright, but you look beautiful beside me. Underneath the passing lights, everyone saw the ending coming. Everyone knew the cost, but no one sees the colors of the things that get lost. We were a train wreck, but the scenery was nice. Watching sunsets through the windows as we ran out of time. The engine kept on screaming, the rails began to bend. We were never built for forever, but I loved the ride until the end. The mountains look like promises, the rivers look like tears. Every town became a photograph of our disappearing years. You slept against my shoulder, I pretended we were safe, even knowing every mile was another step toward change. Some journeys aren't about arriving, some hearts are made to break. Some beautiful disasters are the hardest ones to escape. We were a train wreck, but the scenery was was nice. Every storm outside the window made your hand feel more like mine. The wheels were losing balance, the smoke was filling up the sky, but you were my favorite view. Before we said goodbye, if I could stop the final station, I'd let the train slow down. I'd memorize the way you smiled before the silence came around. Maybe love was never meant to be something we could say. Maybe we were just a moment the tracks were meant to take. We were a train wreck, but the scenery was nice. A beautiful disaster passing through a beautiful night. The last bell started ringing, the final track appeared. I lost you in the wreckage, but I'd write it all again if you were here. Now the old tracks keep on rusting, and the station signs are gone. The world keeps moving forward, but I still hear that song. A train that never reached tomorrow, a love that paid the price. We were a train wreck, darling, but the scenery was nice.